All of a sudden, we arrived. As I told you, my father was a very intelligent, knowledgeable person. And when we arrived to Auschwitz, he saw the sign. As we came in, the train came into the station Auschwitz. He said he never heard of this city or name. Actually, it's in Poland, and the Polish name is Auschwitzin of that name, but the Germans changed it to Auschwitz. And he said, I never heard that name. But anyway, they opened up the doors, and a big confusion, yelling. The Germans started, there were already only German soldiers. Up till the border, Hungarian soldiers were accompanying the train. And there were only Germans, and they started to scream, Lauswachen, fast, fast, out, out, everybody out. And I remember my father helped me down from the train. He kissed my forehead, never saw him again. They took us to those bathhouses. They shaved my head. My mother was standing next to me, and she didn't recognize me. She started to call my name. I was standing next to her. She didn't recognize me a minute later because I was shaved off. And they took our clothes and shoes. They gave us those uniforms, gray dresses. And that's how we were there for 6 weeks. It was terrible, absolutely terrible. The worst part for me in Auschwitz was going to the bathroom, to the toilet. That was the worst in the world.
How was that bad?
It was very bad. There were those big outhouses, not for individual persons. There was 2 rows of holes, and they let in 10, 15 people at once, and you had no privacy, nothing. You had to stay. And in the middle, there was a pad. There was a couple walking with a big stick and yelling, fast, fast, get ready, get lost, out, out. And that was the worst part of my life, that going to the bathroom in the morning. That was such a humiliation. I can't prescribe it. The food, I didn't miss that much the food than the privacy to go to a bathroom.
So you didn't do any work or anything there?
Not in Auschwitz, not in Auschwitz. When we were taken away to labor camp, then we were working. We were working, we were cleaning up a bombed out factory. Not factory, a refinery. They had a refinery in Germany that was bombed out, and they took us there to clean up the rubble. Rubble? No. I mean, well, it was to clean up the building. It was bombed out, so we had to clean the floors, the glasses, everything what was there. And it was a refinery, and we worked there for 6 weeks. At that time, we were fed well because the company, the refinery company, they provided for us food. And the first day when the refinery started to work again, they bombed it out again. The first day. And we were living just across from that refinery in tents. And then the Allies came and bombed it. The refinery blew up, and there was a big fire, and we got frightened that the fire will come to the camp where we were. We started running. We ran out from the barracks. It was tents, not barracks. Zelten. So the Allies were so low flying, and they saw gray dresses and shaved off heads. They thought it's men, soldiers. They started to shoot us. They didn't know who we are. They saw camp and people running, so they started to shoot. 200 girls died at that time, and 200 were injured. And then A couple of days later, they took us away from that camp to another place. In Czechoslovakia, there was a munition factory, and that's where we worked for 6 months, in that munition factory. And when the war came close to an end, they didn't leave us, they didn't let us stay there and wait to be liberated there. They started to take us marching from one place to the other. For 6 weeks we were marching until we were liberated.
They put us on a place where we had to work. We made bombs, and we had to fill in the bombs. They should work. And one day, I went and I put in water in a big bomb. And the Germans took the bomb and they started to try it. And they saw something is wrong and they started to yell, "Who made sabotage?" Nobody said a word. Nobody knew, nobody said a word. After that, we was there a few months. In 1945, like in April, they came because the Russian and the American were already very close to us. They took us away from there with trains, and we was walking too. And we was walking, and they gave for everybody a bread and a piece of margarine and a piece of salami. And they said, "This has to last 2 weeks. You're going to walk 2 weeks." And we was walking maybe a day, and they stopped us, and they put us in barns to sleep. And early in the morning, maybe 3 o'clock in the morning, I heard outside some crying and yelling and complaining. So I went out. We didn't see nothing. It was still dark. But I saw there was not far from us a fence. And I saw like people crawling on the floor. So we waited a little longer. And then we went out again. And I saw the crawling, they were people. And they start to yell, "Is there from Lu somebody? Is there from Bichkiv somebody?" And I said, "Yeah." And I said, "Who are you?" And then there was 2 brothers from Le, Tendler brothers. And one guy was there from Poljana. And I had the bread in my hand, and I started to throw over the fence. They were very hungry, and they were swollen and black. They said, "We didn't eat for 14 days almost." So the girls start to yell, "Don't throw away the bread. We're not going to have what to eat." I said, if they could survive 14 days, we're going to survive too. But I threw the bread, and other people grabbed it. So I said, I'm going to go to the fence, and everybody was crying, "Don't go, they're going to shoot you." I said, I don't care. I went till the middle of the street. All of a sudden, 3 German officers came, and they saw me, and they said, "What are you doing here?" I said, "There is my brother. I didn't see him for a year. I want to go to the gate. I want to give him a piece of bread." So they said, "Stay here. I'm going to send somebody, should go with you to the gate." And really, some army man came, and he took me